The Securities Exchange Commission has officially dismissed its lawsuit against Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out all the details. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can. I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started, it's going to be early Friday, October 20th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1.12 trillion. This is a 3.67% increase on the day today. Fear and greed index right now, we're at a 49. We are neutral. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $29,659, Ethereum $1,610, and XRP right now at 51.68 cents. Bitcoin did reach $30,000 not too long ago, roughly about 4:30 in the morning. It touched $30,000 and then since retraced back down. And then XRP as well, with the news of the case getting dismissed, did reach right about 53 cents before retracing, still currently holding strong above that 50-cent mark, 51.68 cents. Biggest gainers and losers on the day today, we got BSV up 22.4%. We got HEX right now up 18.6%. And then we got STX is going to be up right now 15.5%. Biggest losers, FTT down 5%. FXS is going to be down 1.6%. And then we got XDC right now down 0.7%. This video is strictly going to be short, and it's also just going to be on the Ripple dismissal. So it's been almost nearly 3 years now since this case has been going on. There was supposed to be a trial held in April of next year. Since the SEC did dismiss this case, it's officially not going to be going to trial. And it's just the dismissal of Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen's actions. So this was a voluntary dismissal between both parties. So both parties actually agreed on this. The proposed document is to be reviewed and processed by clerk office staffs. No action required by chambers. If you guys want, everything's going to be down in the comments for you guys to officially read. But Dear Judge Torres, Plaintiff Securities Exchange Commission respectfully notifies the court of stipulated dismissal of the SEC's pending claims against defendants Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse. This court's July 13th, 2023 order set for the trial of the SEC's claim to the individual defendants aided and abetted Ripple's violations of Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933 with Ripple's institutional sales of XRP. So Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen were accused of aiding and abetting with Ripple selling the XRP token. It's really good that this case did actually just get dismissed. Huge positive right now for Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. And this sets a tone for Ripple to start its IPO process, in my opinion. Again, no financial advice. The chief legal officer over at Ripple, who's been fighting this fight for the 2.5 to 3 years right now, is Stuart Alderati. And he said that the SEC made a serious mistake going after Brad and Chris personally. And now they've capitulated, dismissing all charges against our executives. This is not a settlement. This is a surrender by the SEC. That's 3 consecutive wins for Ripple, including the July 13 decision ruling that as a matter of law, XRP is not a security, the October 3rd decision denying the SEC's bid for an interlocutory appeal, and now this. So the SEC did lose all 3. First, Judge Torres officially ruled that XRP is not considered a security. They did rule about institutional sales could be considered securities. But then when the SEC tried to appeal it, Judge Torres denied that interlocutory appeal, listened to their claims, and then did a nice rebuttal against why she's denying those claims. And then now the SEC did agree with Ripple to dismiss the charges against Brad and Chris. Eleanor Tourette says, so what's next steps for in the Ripple case? Now that the SEC has dropped the charges against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, expect to see some more litigation in the penalty phase between the two parties in regards to the appropriate penalty for Ripple's $700 million plus of institutional sales. So those are what were considered securities, the possible securities by Judge Torres. So they're probably going to pay a small fine, but still the XRP token in and of itself is not a security, and those are the words of Judge Torres. Lawyers tell me Ripple will likely be able to reduce the penalty down by the SEC, will still want a substantial amount for bragging rights. they say expect a big fight. But note that the SEC can still appeal Judge Torres' decision regarding the programmatic sales and other distributions of XRP. Torres denied the agency's request for interlocutory appeal on the October 3rd ruling, saying that they had to wait until after the trial. Now that there's no trial, the SEC could potentially appeal after the penalty phase. But overall, this is a big victory for Ripple and crypto industry as a whole, and another loss to add to the pile for the SEC. So a lot of people are speculating that the SEC actually did agree to drop the charges between Brad and Chris to speed up this process right now, because they're losing their headway in Congress right now. And when they now don't have to go to trial, they can now start the appeal process if they choose so. But right now they're down 3-0. Are they going to take another smackdown, especially from an appellate court? Because that's what's going to be above Judge Torres. Frederick Strapoli says lots of implications here. He's a lawyer. Quite a few ways the litigation can still go. All bad for the SEC and only a few somewhat bad for Ripple. Really needs a verbal breakdown, but here's a summary of my thoughts. First is the dismissal of the SEC acknowledging just that its case against Brad and Chris was horseshit, or it did include the realization that the court no longer found the SEC credible in general. The formal suggestions lengthy bitter briefing in the remedy stage, and an appeal, the latter suggests a final settlement is at hand. Considering that, while I understand exactly how Brad and Chris felt while being sued and would want it to end ASAP, it was crystal clear that they would win the lawsuit and expose the SEC. So why agree to a voluntary dismissal, even with prejudice, without more? Question mark makes me lean towards a prediction that the final settlement with Ripple is more likely option. While the letter states that the parties are conferring on remedies briefing schedule, my guess is settlement amounts are flying back and forth between the lawyers as I type. Um, and I agree, kind of like, why would Brad and Chris settle when they knew that they were going to probably win in the trial phase? I'm assuming they didn't want a lot to get out with Ripple, and then the SEC wanted to speed up this process, and Ripple agreed to that because they want to IPO as fast as possible. Here's a little breakdown letter, if you guys want to, from Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. If you guys want to read this in depth, you guys can. This is a nice little picture that Mason Versluis ended up reposting. This is when Brad and Stuart Alderati were visiting the SEC, and he jokes that they were not allowed into that office, but, kind of, oh, well, we won, which is kind of nice. And Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse released a smaller statement on X, and I'm going to go ahead and read those, and then we're going to go ahead and end the video. But Chris Larsen states, the last 3 years, we've seen a rogue administration state that needs to be held accountable for its actions, not just an investigation into the conflicts of interest that led to these baseless claims. And he's talking about the Againt and Ethereum free pass speech, but how the U.S. actively demolished its global standing as the home for innovation, with thousands of jobs moving overseas. Enough is enough. And Jeremy Hogan, who's also a lawyer, who's been doing a lot of research into this case, says, you are quiet but tough like a nail. And then Brad Garlinghouse releases his statement and says, today was an even better day. Ripple 3, SEC 0. In all seriousness, Chris and I, in a case involving no claims of fraud or misrepresentation, were targeted by the SEC in a ruthless attempt to personally ruin us and the company so many have worked hard to build for over a decade. The SEC repeatedly kept its eye off the ball while secretly meeting with the likes of SBF, which is Sam Bankman-Fried, failing again and again to protect U.S. consumers and businesses. How many millions of taxpayer dollars were wasted? Feels good to be finally vindicated. It goes without saying, but I truly work with the best lawyers in the business, including but not limited to Stuart Alderati, Deborah McCrinnen from Ripple, and clearly Gato Blux, Matt Solomon. A heartfelt thank you for the leadership, wisdom, and friendship. Thank you guys for tuning in to the end of this video. I appreciate all of you guys. And if you guys can invest with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.